Well, in the early 1900s, education wasn't easily accessible for everyone. But by the mid-1900s, two prominent black men came along and created dozens of schools in the South.
Well, as Sydney Simone explains, one of them now calls Donaldsonville home.
The 1930s brought in new learning opportunities for blacks. Julius Rosenwald and Booker T. Washington created about 400 Rosenwald Schools in rural areas of Louisiana.
We left the big house and moved to Donaldsonville, not realizing that Donaldsonville was a major hub for African American history.
It was originally a part of the St. James Parish school system. It's now showcased in the River Road African American Museum.
This is three of the remaining schools that are in the same condition that they were when they were built.
Daryl Hambrick, interim director and co-founder of the museum, says times have changed, but education has not.
For you to fight through those kinds of segregations and desegregation and all of those things and still come out with a decent education, I think those are our heroes.
In recent years, many school districts across the country have removed Black history books from shelves and curriculum.
Black history was never taught in schools at the level it should have been taught. So taking it out is not really a factor because it was never really put in.
Hambrick goes on to say, although he believes the value of education has decreased, knowledge is still power.
And then you think about a time when it was afforded to blacks, but it was given to them at a scaled down version. You got used books, you got used this, used that, but the value of that education was high.
Back then, having an 8th grade education was normal. You either went to school or worked. If you were fortunate, you traveled to the nearest city to go to high school.
We had to go to work. When I was 12th grade, my dad pulled the covers off. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Let's go to work." I said, "Work?"
For many blacks in the early to mid-1900s, agriculture was one of the other avenues. And outside, you'll find something that's unique to one family here in Donaldsonville. The Julius brothers were two of the first to create the sugarcane planting machine.
Revolutionized it seriously because it took away a lot of manpower. I mean, that's what everything's coming to today, where you can find a way to be productive with less overhead.
Carlos Julian Sr., the son and nephew of the Julius brothers, Leonard and Harold, says at that time it was extremely rare for a black family to own a machine that could replace the jobs of 8 men, impacting the farming industry in Louisiana.
It's paramount, trust me. It's hard to describe.
Both Hambrick and Julian believe family legacies start with educating our kids at home.
So Donaldsonville is a perfect place for us to display this history and have visitors come and learn more about it.
Although the building is not being used as a school today, it's open to the community for events and learning activities. Reporting in Ascension Parish, I'm Sydney Simone.